greatest thing Mattel ever came up with? It's Hot Wheels. It's the best thing they ever did, and all they made was smaller cars, but they had the world in a chokehold. If you didn't play with these as a kid, you were weird, and you probably smelled bad. So if you like Hot Wheels, you're in luck, because in this video, I'm gonna acetone these shoes right here and paint them with a design that is straight out of the early 2000s. So without further ado, let's get into it. Before I can paint the shoes, I have to take the previous coat of paint off. I personally use acetone to do this. If you're reusing shoes a lot like me, this is going to be the worst part of painting shoes, because it takes forever and it's pretty monotonous. I made the mistake of putting a top coat on this pair, even though I knew I'd be acetoning them, and that makes the paint twice as hard to take off. I've gotten enough paint off these, so I'm ready to move on. I'm going to try something completely new with this design. I'll be using an X-Acto knife to take the Nike swoosh off. Don't worry, I'll be bringing it back. I'm going to change its placement later in this video. When prepping for this video, I did have a specific car in mind. I won't show it till the end. I think you can see the influence, but I obviously didn't want it to look exactly the same. For the first coat, I'll be mixing yellow, red, and this awesome metallic copper paint to make a shade of burnt orange. I put tape on the side there because if you take off the swoosh, there's an exposed seam on the side, and it looks terrible, so I put tape on each side and we'll paint over it. I'll be painting the entire shoe this color, which is pretty out of the ordinary for me, but it makes sense for the design I'm doing. My secondary color for this project is going to be navy blue. I'll be using it here to paint this cool racing stripe that starts at the upper heel and ends at the mud guard. I had to focus so hard here to make sure the lines were as straight as possible. Right under the first line here, I'm painting a second smaller one that follows the same angle. Making sure stripes are straight while also filming the right shots like this is a lot harder than it looks. For the toe box, I'll be switching it up, painting a line that bounces around, almost like waves. Then, near the bottom of the shoe, it straightens out for a bit, making a U shape. And then I repeat the same pattern on the other side. Then I'm going to take the main stripe and wrap it around the entirety of the mud guard, connecting it at the stripe on the other side. And I have no clue what this thing's called, but it's getting a navy stripe too. My favorite part of customizing Air Force Ones by far is painting the logo. It's such a simple little touch, but I swear it looks awesome every single time. You gotta do this if you paint Air Force Ones. Color I'm using for this shoe is going to be a vibrant sky blue that I made mixing navy and a lot of white. It's going to run along the top of the first stripe, and for most of this shoe, the sky blue is going to mirror the navy blue. For the toe box, I'm doing a really simple, almost half oval shape. And on the heel leather near the back of the shoe that I don't know the name of, I'm painting each side with this light blue. Coming back to the logo, I'll be painting the inside of the letters and check as well. I definitely didn't have to look this up, but this part of the shoe is called the eye stay, so I'll be wrapping a stripe of sky blue all around the eye stay. Don't worry, I didn't forget about the navy. I'm going to run a stripe of it around the middle of the eye stay, just below the lighter blue stripe. And now we're coming back full circle to the Nike checks. Going to put a couple coats of white paint on these, then I'll be ready to attach them to the shoe with some super glue. Go ahead and put your predictions in for how I'll arrange them on the shoe. If you said same spot just turned upside down, you won. This is my plan from the start, but it's still hard to fully visualize it till it's done and in front of you. That being said, this is almost exactly how I wanted it to look. We're not done yet though. Now I'll be using plastic to make my own Hot Wheels logos to put on the shoes. After I cut them out, I need to put 2 to 3 coats of white paint on them to get rid of the transparency. Now it's time to paint the letters. And before you think I'm awesome, I'm going off a picture of the Hot Wheels logo. I cannot do this from memory. And again, I'm going to use super glue to attach these to the dead center of the toe box. And if you thought I was going to leave the midsole this dirty, you're crazy. I'm going to go over this 3, maybe even 4 times with white paint just to clean it up. I think the key to a good custom pair of shoes is in the details. For example, I'm painting the Air logo on the heel with all 3 of the colors I used to make the shoe. A small change that makes the design as a whole stand out way more than if I left it blank. One of the last elements I want to add to the shoe is car wheels. I'm going to trace circles into the plastic to make 8 wheels, 4 per shoe. Then I'm going to paint them navy using 2 to 3 coats. Once they dry, I'm going to paint an inside circle sky blue, and then an even smaller one inside of it. Then I'll use super glue to adhere them to the midsole, one at the very front of the shoe and the other closer to the back, just before the Air logo. And I'm doing the same thing for the other side. Now I'm nearly finished with the shoes. The last thing I'm going to do is put an Angelus top coat on. I'm going to use their high gloss finisher so that the shoes will look shiny like a car. Always do 2 coats of top coat unless you want your nice new customs ruined immediately. And with that, I'm pretty much done here. Here's a look at the shoes complete. One of my favorites I've done so far. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.